Howdy, everybody in YouTube land. We have yet another Powerbook on the bench for restoration. This is something I picked up a long time ago. I don't remember the details, where it came from, or any of that. Probably an eBay purchase or maybe a swap meet purchase. I don't know. But this is a Powerbook 165C. So it is the color version. It's in decent condition, as far as I can tell. The hinges are all blown out, which, not surprised. It happens to all of them. And then, and it's a 165C. There's some sticker residue and some dirt on the bottom, so that'll need to be cleaned up, but that's not too bad. It says right here, property of the Chicago Board of Trade. Don't know what that is. I have no idea. Let's see. Let's pop the rear door open. Yeah, I don't see any rusted screws, unlike the previous one, so I think we're okay there. It's got the modem built into it. But yeah, hinges are definitely blown out. So we gotta fix that mess. Hopefully the plastic bits are still in there so we can do that. Because we're just gonna do our special concoction of plastic MEK weld and epoxy for reinforcement. So how long it'll last, I don't know, but chances are it's these hinges get stiff over time and it causes them to break. Now on the Powerbook 145B, I re-lubricated the hinges and worked them, and they're a lot more smooth now. They're not as stiff, so that's what needs to be done with a lot of laptop hinges. Plus these things get brittle too. So alright, so the feet are a little bit Quarko twinculated and smoothed off, but otherwise they're not broke and they're still in decent condition. The battery is still in here, I think, which could be a problem because I don't know. No, the battery's gone. Alright, good. Clean, remarkably. Alright, good. I must have removed the battery a long time ago. Because I've had this machine for who knows how long. And it's time to start going through all this stuff and figuring out. Fixing it, restoring it, whether I'm going to keep it, sell it. You know, I got to figure it out. Oh, never mind. It's definitely chipped off there. So I might replace those feet. I do have a couple more feet from the 145 that I scrapped out. So alright, so let's start taking it apart and assessing the damage and start figuring out what we got to do here. Plus there's probably caps in the screen. I've never owned or worked on a 165C, so this is going to be new for me. So let's dive in. I got the two halves separated now. It was fairly straightforward. Took all the screws out. I had one of them stripped, so I had to go up with the size up with my screwdriver. But I was able to get it out, and yeah, I mean, no battery leakage yet. I don't know if these batteries actually do leak or not, but I'm going to remove it. Someone definitely went all out on the upgrades of this machine. Let's see what's in here without breaking it, because I think I don't know if that's video memory or standard memory or what that is. Let's see. $1992, 51. Oh, that's ROMs. That's a ROM and RAM card. Yeah. Won't work without that. So that's the stock ROM and RAM expansion. But then there's also this, which I think is also a RAM expansion board. But there's a lot of unpopulated slots on the top of it. Yeah, that's a 4 megabyte RAM upgrade. That's... Yeah. Okay. Now, I can probably buy more of these chips. Put one over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That must be parity. Yeah, what I could do, I could buy more of these chips and put another 4 megabyte on the back of it and make this an 8 megabyte expansion. That would be more useful, so I'll keep that in mind. There's 4 megabytes there, and there's probably 2 megabytes here. I don't know. Let's see, what size are those chips? 512? I don't know, I have to look it up. That could either be 2 or 4 megs there, plus another 4 megs is 8 megs. But if I put another 4 megs here, that'd give me 12 megs. See, LSI logic, that must be the CPU. Oh, nice, there's a hair on there. Or is that a crack? No, that's most definitely somebody's hair. From like 1992, who knows? Okay, I think I want to get all these parts off because I want to check all the standoffs and reseal them like we've done before in the past with the other one. But at the same time, I want to address these hinges because, yeah, I need to address the screen and the hinges. The good thing is this has a 20 megabyte? No. 120. No, this is a 120 megabyte IBM SCSI drive. Those are fairly reliable drives versus the Connor and Quantums that you see in here. So that drive might be good. I don't know what's on it. I've never used this machine. So anyways, let's get the screen apart and figure out what the hell we got going on there and how we can approach re-gluing the plastic, because I'll let that glue and cure for 24 hours. Then while that's doing that, I can either recap the display and get to pay attention to this one, or we'll figure it out. So let's move on to the next thing. I got the top. I was able to get this open, and the hinges were very, very stiff. I was able to get the top plate off and the 2 screws out. This screw wanted to spin, but I was able to get it free while trying to hold this plastic. But you can see it's broke completely away. So I need to, so this cable doesn't get torn, I need to get the 4 screws out and get this panel removed so I can free up any tension that might be on this cable. That way I can deal with this plastic and get it out of the way, and then we'll re-glue everything later once I get it all out and separated. Plus I got to re-lubricate these hinges. So let's work on getting this display out. Plus we need to check it for leaking capacitors anyway, because you know. Alright, I got the screen off and the cable loose. Cable's not torn, luckily. I didn't even peel off the factory 3M VHB tape. That's still on there. Anyways, I'm kind of glad they didn't, because that would have made it harder. Anyway, so these are very, very stiff, so they have to be re-lubricated. But perhaps more importantly, as I suspected, they're all snapped apart and have to be glued back together. That snapped off too from the LCD panel. It's still on the back of the LCD panel there. But luckily I can take that off and re-glue that fairly easily. I can take my MEK and try to do the best I can with melting and refusing all of that back together, and then reinforcing it with epoxy like I did with the 145, which seems to be holding up. So we're going to do that here and get that out of the way so then we can work on this. I really, really, really like this stuff. It's just MEK, methyl ethyl ketone is all that is. But it allowed me to get all of the pieces. They're ugly, but I made sure to be very liberal with the application so it can sneak through all the cracks. And you can see where some of the plastic is oozed out. where the cracks were. So this stuff is hard as a rock, and it retains the original strength, whatever's left of that. I went through every single one of them, and there were micro cracks everywhere. This was the one that was literally off the panel. So what I do is I'll get it in the crack, and then I'll take these pliers and kind of push on it a little, and you'll see little tiny plastic slurry ooze out of the cracks. And once you see it ooze out of all the cracks and you set it and let it pack, you know you got a good bond. So then you want to hold it for a little bit so it sets up, because as soon as you let go, it'll want to, pull apart again. So let it set up a bit, and then that should do it. Then once it hardens, I'll take my sandpaper and go at this a little bit. And then I'll take the epoxy and go around it to try to give it a little bit more strength, and hopefully that holds. So now I can set that out of the side, let that cure a little bit before I get the epoxy mixed up. And then we'll work on the panel. I want to see if there's any caps in there and what needs replaced. I have the epoxy all mixed up and into place. Yeah, not the cleanest in the world, but it doesn't matter. Trying to give it some torsional rigidity. We'll see. Works on the 145 for now. But yeah, that's done. I'm going to leave it cure. And then we're going to take a look at that display. Got the rear cover off, and it doesn't look like it has surface mounts, but I can't see up under here, so I'm not sure. But from what I can tell, I see more of these stupid low profile capacitors. Those are 10 microfarad at 63 volts, which I don't have on hand, so I'm going to have to order those. At this rate, I might as well order out the entire world supply of all low profile caps, because I keep running into them. Same thing here. We got a polymer cap in the middle, but these two other ones, 8.2 at what voltage? 80? Yeah, that's oddball. I don't have those either. So, yep, I'm going to have to order both those and those. So I took the rear cover off because you've got to get this metal plate out before you can even get the front screen assembly off. So I'm going to unsolder that, and I'm going to take a peek under here and see if there's any other components that I'm missing, surface mount or otherwise. Okay, I got the top cover off, so I was able to lift that out of the way very carefully. That exposes the panel and the driver circuitry, so we have to be super careful not to tear these ribbon cables. I have to remove this panel. The last thing I want to do is crack the panel, so I'm trying to figure out a way to... Yeah, that's... Oh man, there we go. Freed it up. Okay. It's truth of reveal here. Okay. And there's the panel. Nothing crazy. But that's the only caps that are in here are those 7. Alright, well. Let's measure them and let's get an order started. While we're waiting on the parts for that, we can start working on... Whoa, that's cool. Look at that. Whoa, trippy, man. Wow. Cool. A little bit of yellowing around the parameter of the plastic. Yeah, not surprised for something this age. Okay, well, let's get everything measured up, and then we're going to move on to the base and get the standoffs re-glued on that. Now that I have my capacitor list written down so far, it's time to start taking this guy apart and inspecting all of the standoffs and re-gluing them as we need them here. Oh, these scare the crap out of me. case anyone's wondering what tool I'm using, this was a Powerbook opener. This was, I don't know, popular back in the day, I guess. Alright, so we'll move all those screws there, and then we'll get all these out, and we're going to check the standoffs and verify everything is kosher. And yep, as I suspected, the standoffs are busted completely off. That one's split apart, that one's broken. There's the two pieces there. That one broke off, which goes there. So that one appears to be intact, although you can see it cracking. And let's see, what does that one look like? Is it cracking yet? Yep, it is. You can see it right there in the bottom corner. So that's got to come out. Let's see, might as well remove the motherboard. Remove the battery temperature sensor. Let's see, no corrosion on those. Overall, that board looks good. So I'll set you off to the side there. Let's inspect all of these. First off, let's remove this plastic film, because it's going to be in my way. Yep, I can see some cracks there. Yep, there's one right there. Definitely some around there. That one I can't tell. No, it doesn't look like there's a... Yep, there is, right there. There's a crack right there in the bottom. Let's see, is there any cracks here? So yeah, we're gonna have to re-glue all these up. Well, let's get to gluing. And that is it. All of the standoffs are glued back in place. So yeah, everything's all solid now. So we're gonna start reassembling this guy a little bit at a time. So the parts have come in for the Powerbook 165C, and I'm starting to notice this problem all across the board in 2022. It's just a sign of the times, I guess. But I got the caps for the display. Those are the correct ones, 10 microfarad, 63 volt. But the one for the inverter, which is, what are they again? I forget. Let's see, 2.2 at 80 volt. No, 8.2 at 80 volt. So I have 8.2 at 80 volt. I can't get those. They're just not available, not in these small form factors as far as my standard suppliers are concerned. So the closest I can get is a 10 microfarad. I don't know how it's going to affect the operation, but there's only one way to find out. You don't know until you try. Just pulled out the two capacitors, and sure enough, they're leaking. You can see the residue there and there. And there's the cap there. And I put the other one over here, so I didn't mix them up. But yeah, it's bad. So really, nothing is safe anymore from this era. Just nothing is. So that's a polymer cap. I'm going to leave it alone, but I'm changing the other two. I pulled these out and checked those, and there's no signs of leakage. But the other problem is the old ones are 2 millimeters shorter than the new ones, and I can't get shorter ones. So that's why before I ordered them, I grabbed my little cheapo ruler thing and I measured what the clearance was in the lid, and it's just shy of 10 millimeters of clearance from the top of the housing to the bottom, and it's under that, but it's going to be super close, and I hope it fits. So that's another thing you got to pay attention to when ordering these caps, because the current supply chain with what's in stock, I can't get these. Maybe I can get a Chinesium one or something, but I'm not putting those in there. So yeah, let's hope that works. Now it's time, I got to clean all this crap off, and I got to put the display back together. And as I calculated, it literally just clears. So it's sitting in there now. It's probably just about touching the metal, but it clears. Now I'm going to clean all this up before I put the bezel back on. Soldering the shield back on, and it literally can't get any closer than that. That is close. Ooh, I got lucky. So with the screen out of the way, before we can put this thing back together, now we're going to have to pay attention to the details over here. So I need to take these hinges out and re-lubricate those. I also need to clean the rollers and all that stuff in the ball. Plus I got to clean off some nastiness with the keyboard. And that should do it for the top cover. So let's get these hinges out and get them re-lubricated. So when I took this apart, I took the keyboard and the assembly out together because the membrane is starting to separate already right here. So I don't want to make that worse than what it already is. So I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to clean that key up and remove the battery from that. And then while I have this apart, I can address any issues in here, which I don't see any. I'll probably grab some of that glue and soften these standoffs up and let them re-harden in case they're cracking free. I already did that over here, you can see. So that's what we're going to do next. Just a little bit of plastic maintenance. Got the hinges all re-lubricated and all of that stuff, and it's a lot more free now than it was. Now I won't tighten these down because these hinges have a little bit of a side-to-side play. I want to get them mounted in the cover first and then tighten them down. That way they're in the right spots. But yeah, this is looking much better so far. Now the arduous process of getting everything back together and hoping that it holds. Got to snake the wire through here underneath this time, unlike the 145. That screw's held in, that screw's held in. For some reason this epoxy is still kind of soft, and it's been a week, but it's really, you can see it very rubbery and soft. I don't know if that's the way this epoxy is supposed to be or what, but anyways, that's in there. But I re-glued all the plastic before I did that, so hopefully it holds. Same thing with that standoff, it's not breaking off, and really it's still holding for now. But anyways, I'm gonna get everything back together, get the screen in here, you know, and start slowly putting it back together a little bit at a time. We're slowly getting this guy back together. The standoffs are holding pretty good, everything's in place. I just have to tuck these cables in better because otherwise the lid's not going to want to go on. This is the CCFL inverter cables. It just wants to keep popping out of its groove. Now I should be able to get the lid on, hopefully. I was worried about the two capacitors I replaced on the inverter board, if they were going to clear, and it looks like they did. They cleared no problem. There's no bulgy-walgy in the board or anything. It's sitting flat. So yeah, we're good there too. So I just got to get a new piece of tape for the cover, the shield, so I can get it positioned down here. Should be good. Now before I get too carried away, I want to see if this machine actually works. So we're gonna, come on. That's what happens when I've only got like one power supply on the bench. Anyways, let's get that adjusted right. We'll get you connected in here. Alrighty then. I got current draw. Will the hard drive spin? Maybe, maybe not. Oh, you know what? It's not going to do anything anyways. Got to have the ROM in there. Might work better with that installed. I hear it starting up. Yep, she's booting. Alright, so we know the main board's good, so I can unplug the power to that. Alright. Now the only thing left to do on the base here is to re-glue that because it popped off on me. I don't think I got enough glue in there. So I need to re-glue that. Alright, she's all back together again. Now, it's now or never. Now, I don't have all the screws in it because I don't know if it's going to work. I don't even know if the hard drive's any good. There's a lot of things I don't know. So, I got my power supply on. We're going to plug this guy in. And hopefully, it works. So, let's see. Contrast. Brightness. Let's see. Nope, too bright. Too dim. Nope. Somewhere in there. Well, it's starting up. That's a good news. That's some definite good news. Let's see if it starts all the way up. It looks like it's system 7.0 or 7.1 because it doesn't have the progress bar. This is the install this machine came with, by the way. I don't know what's on here at all. Ugh, that background. Hard on the eyes. Let's see. Hard drive thingy. Well, I'm just curious. What is it? It looks like it's been reloaded at some point. What do we have specs wise? 165C, 8 megs RAM, system 7.1. Yeah, there we go. Arbor projects. Constitution. I'm wondering if this is a school laptop or something. No? Huh. Interesting. Let's see, I got WordPerfect 3.5. Microsoft Excel. Well, let's see. What version of Excel do they have? President's Office, Chicago Board of Trade. Yeah, I'd say this is official. So I don't want to go too far with this because I don't want to reveal any possible confidential information in a YouTube video. So I won't open any files now that I know where it's come from. But Excel runs. Let's see. Powerbook display, WordPerfect. Okay. Novell version 3.5. Yeah. It's got WordPerfect installed. I don't know if this has been archived or not. It probably has if I were to assume. So we'll close that. Huh. That's everything that was open. We'll close that. So yeah, everything seems to be functioning. Oh, I want to check the floppy drive, make sure it's good. I got this disk here. I don't think this is formatted. No, it is not. So let's initialize it. Write protected. Oh, hang on. Let me check. No, wait. No, that's, no. It's not write protected. That is not good. We have a problem with the floppy drive. I wonder if the micro switch is broke that detects this. Let me go grab unknown good disk. Stand by. Alright, so this floppy I know is good. This is an 800K disk. Nope, that's not right. So you've got a bad floppy drive. This is formatted. I formatted this with a Macintosh Plus, and I know that one's readable. This is a Mac OS disk I know is readable. Nope. That is not good. So this disk I know is readable, because I think that's my System 7.5 network access disk. Nope. Floppy drive is bad. Now we've got to dig into why that floppy drive is bad. Alright, well, I think that's all I'm going to demonstrate on this machine here. You know, I might be able to open up the jokes file, because this doesn't seem like it contains personal information. If it does, I'll edit it out of this video. So those are blah blah blah. Yeah. Alright, yeah, everything's good there, so we'll kill that. So this used to be a laptop for the Chicago Board of Trade, from what I can tell, the files on here. So, anyways, I'm going to shut this down. We got to take a look at the floppy drive and figure out what is going on with that drive. Alright, I got everything apart, and I'm getting ready to remove the bracket, and I just realized something. That might be a problem. It would help if I actually, you know, put it in there correctly. Yeah, okay, let's try that again. Let me, yeah. 1 second. Alright, let's try this again. Or not. There we go. Now let's hope I can format this disk. Well, try to anyways. So let this guy warm up, and then we're going to, yeah, let's try this again. I'm going to start it with the extensions off, because I want it to go faster than the original. You could tell the difference between the original hard drive and the blue SCSI, because this thing takes for god-awful ever on a physical hard drive. Alright, let's see. Let's put the disk in. Will it format? Hey, that's a better sign. Alright, yeah, that's a lot better. It certainly helps to, you know, make sure the floppy cable is plugged in flat and not off to an angle. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if I didn't seat that in there right, or if I pulled on it a little bit. I'm not sure what I did. But I'm going to let this format, and hopefully it passes the format. I do not know if this disk is any good. Yay, it is. It passed the format. Yep, 1K in disk. So that means, in theory, eject that. I could take my system, whatever the hell disk this is, and it should read it. And there it is. All right. Yep, all is well. That's what I thought. All right, well, that's fixed. So I think that's going to end it for this video. We got the machine running. Everything's up and going. I just got to button it up. So anyways, thank you for watching. And if you have a comment, please feel free to leave one. And until next time, guys.